Hello, Forecaster here again, and we are back for Detour 43. And they are billions still. So I've covered this game before in a previous Detour episode, and it has had a number of updates since then, and I have gotten pretty far in this uh, playthrough, in this run, to where I am almost at the final horde, the final wave, which I've never reached before. Now, unfortunately, because of an update, the OBS had deselected my microphone, so it wasn't recording any of my live voiceover, which I didn't notice, which I should have, because the sound level indicator would have been completely still, but I didn't notice that. So I have to record some voiceover in post, which is what you're listening to right now. And it's pretty unfortunate. I recorded over 40 minutes of this. I'll probably skip bits of it just so I don't have to re-record voiceover for quite that long. I'll try to trim it down to 30-ish minutes. So there's been, like I said, a number of updates. The most recent one added wonders, and it also added this mode where you can flatten the terrain. So you display cliffs and forests as colored areas. Now, I wished that they'd also do the same thing with the water, where they would raise it up and display it as a clear blue, clearly blue area. That would be lovely, because as you may not have seen up there, I pointed out some pools of water in my base, which are difficult to see, especially the small narrow one, which you might have missed completely in the bottom left there, or in the middle left of the screen currently. So yeah. They also added wonders, which are special buildings that do wondrous things and are really, really expensive. And I have one of them right now, and that is the Observer. I don't remember the exact name. And it is revealing the whole map for me, which is lovely. It's nice to see what the zombies are up to, I suppose. It's mostly useful when you have an attack, where you can see exactly where the horde is and what it consists of. So the other wonders, you get 2 for each tech level. You get 2 in the wood workshop, 2 in the stone workshop, and 2 in the foundry. And there is one that increases gold output of nearby buildings. You have a greenhouse, which produces a massive amount of food, 800 food, I think it was. That's the one I showed there, but I can't read the text. It's too small for me right now. And then you have one that converts some resources into oil. I think it was wood, stone, and iron. And then you have the one I'm hovering over currently, which makes all units you produce veterans. And then you have the lightning spire, which produces a lot of power and also works like a Tesla tower with a large range, which, in case you don't know, it's one of these. Tesla tower has an area of influence, which enables you to build buildings there. And the command center has such an area as well, of course, that you start with. But then you need to keep building Tesla towers to expand your building area. And the Lightning Spire has a massive such area and produces a whole bunch of power as well. Yeah, and then that is the Atlas transmutator or something. I can't really read that. But it produces oil from other resources. I might have missed one. I'm not sure, but whatever. They're pretty neat. And here Cortana comes up for some reason. Which is weird. But whatever. So yeah, I said I didn't build any of the observation outposts because I went straight for the observer wonder instead. It seemed more efficient. And I'm going to be building a couple of these Titans, and they are pretty neat. Took a bunch of effort to get there. So I'm going to skip forward a bit now. So here I am. I have researched the Titan unit, and I'm selling a bunch of resources to try to get the money to buy or to order another one. I believe one is training right now. But I want to train 2 of them as quickly as possible. Because as far as I know right now, the final wave could come at any moment after day 100. It turns out not to be the case, but hey, didn't know that at the time. And then once the Titans are done, you just start taking them out and try them out. And I kill a bunch of zombies on the map, out on the map. Which turns out to actually be a good idea, because it turns out when the final wave comes, all the zombies that are left on the map also start attacking all at once. So I probably survived a little longer than I would have otherwise. Because yeah, I didn't actually survive the wave, which is not surprising because it was the first time I'd gotten here. I was hoping, but in the end, hope didn't get me anywhere, really.
Good morning, sir.
But yeah, so that turned out to be a good strategy because I killed pretty much all of the zombies in the top half of the map, which is also where my defenses happen to be weakest. I think that's where the zombies broke through first. At least.
Indeed. Here we go.
And yeah, I comment on how weird the voice of the Titan sounds. It just sounded off, kind of silly somehow, but not in a funny way, just a weird way. It's a bit difficult to explain. Let's skip forward again, because we pretty much see what the Titan does. Also, the sound the gun makes, that it makes when it fires. Not the low frequency
My pleasure.
sound, but the weird disconnected machine gun sound that's in the back, kind of in the background. I don't know why they have that, but it doesn't seem like it fits at all. It's really strange. Anyway, let's skip forward a bit. Again. So here, as you can see, in the
Is it tea time
minimap there, I've cleared out almost all of the zombies that were bunched together in the top half of the map. And what I was doing here was I was complaining about. I found that because I'm using the laptop mode because I want to use WASD for the panning controls.
Oh,
I found that the new Wonder button, which is in the middle there, when you have an unbuilt Wonder, and of course it disappears when you have constructed all the Wonders you have unlocked, because you can only build them once. But it's bound to the W key, which means that if you have laptop mode on, as soon as you want to, as you press W to pan up, you happen to be in that menu, it goes into the Wonder menu, which is a bit of an oversight. It's not a huge issue, of course, but it's still odd.
Yes.
And it annoyed me a bit because I had to keep backing out again.
Oh, hello.
Units under attack.
Until I built the Wonder, of course, and then the problem went away completely.
Good morning, sir.
So just killing zombies, testing out the Titans. They have a lot of health, and they regenerate health very quickly.
Oh dear.
The only unit they really had issues with were the Sirens,
Sweet.
or Harpies. Harpies, they're called. The
Jolly good.
Harpy does a lot of damage, and it one wasn't a problem, but when there were multiples of them, like up to 3 or upwards 3, they got the Titan's health down pretty decently, and actually ended up having to pull one back because it was nearly dead. Because it met a bunch of these Harpies down towards the bottom left there. Might be pretty soon that we see that, so let's hang around and watch.
My machine is ready. Oh, the infected. They're so rude.
Our forces are in
Have
danger.
a taste of my machine. My machine is ready. Let's go.
Units under attack.
Good morning, sir.
Our soldiers are in trouble.
Oh,
And
dear.
here the health of the Titan goes into the red, so I decided it's probably best
Sweet
to
dreams.
retreat for a bit and let it regenerate.
Let's go. Let me
So
destroy
yeah.
them.
Our forces are in
Jolly
danger.
good.
I also wish that
My machine is ready.
to make the
Is it tea time already?
all the units' health appear like that, you hold down Alt. I wish there was a toggle for that.
The wrath of the
If there is, I don't know what it is, but there isn't anything in the settings about it. It would be lovely to just have the enemy's health always displayed,
taste of my machine.
and just be able to toggle it, and not have to hold down Alt all the time, or when I want to see the health. It's also useful for spotting zombies, which might be why they don't allow you to do that, to toggle it.
Machine is ready.
But that seems a little silly, because it's not that big of an advantage.
Good morning, sir.
Not when you can just hold down Alt and swat them anyway.
Oh my god.
But yeah, that would be something that I would want.
Billions.
So here's the final wave is incoming. You have 24 hours before it actually comes, instead of the 8 hours you get before a normal wave. But there's a lot of them, and they come from all directions instead of just one direction, like a regular wave.
Is it tea time
And there's a
already?
lot of them.
Feel
A
the
whole
wrath
lot of them. So many. Plus, like I said, all the zombies that are lounging about on the map also attack. It becomes kind of like a pre-wave of sorts. So you don't get a lot of time once you get there. And the goal I had set for the on the difficulty settings was 120 days. So I guess the final wave doesn't come on either of those, really. Not 100 and not 120. But it might take like 10 days to actually deal with the final wave,
My machine
supposedly,
is ready. Too easy. Oh dear.
since it comes about 10 days ahead of time.
Yes.
Um,
Here we go.
it takes a little less time than that, probably. But yeah, so I'm still mopping up zombies, and it's about now that I should have researched the executor.
Oh hello.
That's what I would do if I was doing this right now. But I can't fix past mistakes, unfortunately. Can only use them to learn for the future. So now all the zombies are running towards the base, and they're going to run into my defenses, which on this side is pretty good.
Morning, sir.
I don't think they really
Oh dear.
that point where I had the mouse right here, those are weak. They actually breached there, but all the places where there are shocking towers, they didn't really get through. Those took care of the zombies pretty well.
Let's go.
They are attacking
With a little help from the Titans, of course. But the other places, that one to the bottom right there, or middle, I guess, bottom middle, and particularly the top, those didn't really stand a chance because the defenses were really weak. Didn't have shocking towers. I tried building some in the during the attack, which you will see shortly, but it didn't really help. I built a number of ballistas up here, but those aren't super effective against these kinds of numbers. I couldn't fit it right up against the wall. Probably wouldn't have mattered if I put it there anyway, because it wouldn't have, it would have been destroyed before it was completed. But I think I lost before that one was completed anyway, or maybe not. I'm trying to find a good spot for it. Look it down there in the path of the zombies. But of course that doesn't matter because they're going to come from the top and break straight through with not much in the way. It has a shocking tower up there, but it without sniper support
Is it tea time already?
or the support of a Titan,
Jolly good.
it
Well, it looks
it
so
didn't do
tiny
enough
from here.
on its own.
Good
It
morning,
was
sir.
it wasn't able to deal with
Hello.
the fat zombies. I don't remember what they're called, but the huge tanky ones. I think when I do this again, rather than going for the observer first, I'll probably go for the what's called the Crystal Palace, the greenhouse one that produces food, because food is difficult. Food is very difficult. It became easy at this point because I had the advanced farms, which are nice. But until then,
At your service.
it was a clinch for space to put the farms for the green, fertile ground, and I barely had enough to make it through without having to expand too much.
Our defenses are being attacked.
Yeah, so they broke in there.
They are infecting our buildings.
But yeah, the greenhouse wonder would have made things easier. And then I could have taken because you get those with the wood workshop. Then I could have gone for the observer to reveal the map and get intel. And then focus on the higher tier ones when I unlock the stone, or when I build the stone workshop and the foundry eventually. Here I discovered something that I hadn't noticed before. You can't demolish the workshops. They don't have a button for that. And I'd never needed to move one. And I kind of just expected them to have a button there, because I've never actually gone to press it before, but it turns out at least the wood one doesn't. So I wanted to build the fences there. I guess because they are such high priority targets, it makes sense because they have a lot of workers in them. So you need to really plan where you put them, and I mean in this case it doesn't really matter because there's a lot of zombies anyway. But if one gets infected by just one zombie, that's going to create a small horde on its own. And there I lost. Yeah. Furthest I've gotten, just 4 dead soldiers, which is pretty amazing. I think all of them were snipers. Well, actually, probably 2 were snipers, and 1 Titan died, so I guess... I think... Well, I think during the actual... During most of the game, just 1 sniper died, because I was being too brave with them, trying to deal with an infected village. But yeah, so I'm going to try again. Probably won't record it, but this first time was very exciting. And with that, I will see you in the next video.